y'all, welcome to episode 7 of the Prolific Shift Sunday Sit Down. I'm Janae Peters and I'm the founder of Prolific Shifts. So Prolific Shifts right now has sort of two parts. One part is creating a cohort community for Black educators to engage in personal and professional development. And another part of this is this offering here on YouTube, on IGTV, and on Facebook and some spaces as well, where each week I'm coming to this space to offer inquiry, to offer a question and an action item that folks who are wanting to transform, shift, do whatever it is that brings something different into your world, gives you different results. Anyone who wants to do that can come here to this space and engage with these questions and action items. Does not have to be with me. It might actually work better if it's someone who you are in relationship with. If I am also that person, that's fine too, but find someone who you might be in deep or at the very least in, if not deep, maybe in transformational relationship with to assist you on this shift. So here in this space, I have been loving what's been happening as a product of this. I love hearing from people about how they're thinking about the questions, what it's prompting in them. And I also love, honestly, what it's doing for me. I see this as a sort of accountability for myself. So coming to this space is, as I've said before, as much for me as it is for anyone else. So getting started on today and my goal, we're already a minute and a half in, and my primary goal is to be under 7 minutes. So we'll see how this goes. Okay, so last week's question asked us to think about a value that has changed over time and to reflect upon what precipitated that shift. And the action item asked us to decide if it's a shift that we want to stick with by making time to think about whether or not it's aligned with our professed values. So this week we're keeping it sort of simple question-wise. The question is, what do you prioritize? Now, the question itself is sort of simple in some ways, but the work to identify this is much more complex than the question, I think. So one thing I'm thinking about this question is that we have what we prioritize or what we say we prioritize, so what we profess to prioritize, and then we have what we spend our time and energy and effort on, so what we actually prioritize. And I'm wanting us to engage in thinking about what that professed priority is, and then what the actual priority is, and thinking about how we can move a little closer to that professed priority or shift that priority and make it more realistic or something that really is more in service to our highest selves. So for me, one of the things that I think about when I think about this question is I have this priority in my heart and in my mind that says to choose people. And I remember when I first decided this, but so for me in my priority, I'm like, I will always choose people. But when I'm actually thinking about how I spend my hours on a day-to-day basis, I'm working, I'm writing, I'm thinking, I am on social media, like doing all these things that maybe on some level might ultimately serve people. But in my day-to-day, it is not difficult for me to go through a day where I have not chosen relationships, where I have chosen other things, my ambitions, or whatever that is. And that's okay too. But it's interesting to then think about what gets me out of alignment from what I profess to be my priority. And for me, when what I want to prioritize doesn't feel accessible, it's usually because I'm stressed or doing the most. I haven't made time for it. I'm one of those people who it's like, I have so many interests. I have interests on all levels. And so I'm always trying to find the thing that I want to do, and I feel fulfilled by it. So it's not always like an energy type of exhaustion, but there are literally only a certain amount of hours in a day, in a week, in a month. So I cannot do all the things, which means that when I'm trying to do these other things, relationships often fall to the side. But when I think about what it would mean to align with that priority, because it is one that I want, it is one that I want to have. I don't want to not have that. What that looks like for me is, and this is just how my brain works. And I do it in this, my little Toni Morrison book. This is what I've started doing this. Thank you, Laurel, for this gift when it came through. What I've started doing is any given week, I write out a relationship I want to focus on. So a lot of times, given that I have a partner and live with my partner, a lot of times like he's what's in that space, because when I'm doing a lot of the things that I'm doing are outside of the home space. So that's a relationship that I have to really think about. What does it really look like for me to show that relationship is a priority for me? And that is something I am actively working on. And I often find also that my siblings, my family, my immediate family and my larger family are on there. It's usually a focus first on my immediate family, which is a lot because my siblings are procreating like nobody's business. So, it's my siblings, it's their children, it's my parents, it's my aunts, it's my grandmother, my grandfather as well. They're different. More to that story. But when I write that down in this space and I think about who I can call that week, who I can check on, who I can have on my heart and my mind in my meditations, right? And that is something that helps me to become more aligned with that priority. That is something that for the end of this year, that's something I really am trying out, and I want to use this space of prolific shifts to work that out. I also wanted to shout out the shirt that I'm wearing. It's called Shape the Culture. So Shape the Culture was created by a student who was at the last school I worked at, Jordan Hudson. So Jordan created Shape the Culture and has recently created a documentary called Birmingham Then and Now that is a sort of a comparison of the civil rights work of Birmingham during the civil rights movement and the work that is going on today. And it's really dope. So if you go to the Birmingham Civil Rights Institute's website, I think today you can still see it for free. So we're almost at 7 minutes and I'm just going to stop because why not? So the question is, what do you prioritize? So again, what do you profess to prioritize and what do you actually prioritize? Like really think about how you spend your days and your time. And then the action item is asking you to think about what you prioritize when you're serving your own highest goals in relationship to your highest self, and to create a plan. So that's a time frame, action steps for bringing intention, audacity, and reflection to that priority in that order, right? So intend to have the priority, add a little dash of audacity there, right? So when I say add the dash of audacity, what I really mean is take it up a notch. Higher the stakes, because we focus on things when the stakes are high. So make the stakes high. For me, it's if I'm saying I want to bring more intention to my relationships this week, that's like, you know what? Make time for your family, your partner, and 3 of your friends. So we'll see how that goes, but I'm going to up the stakes for that. And then also make space for reflection on that priority. So is this the priority that you want to hold? Have you created the conditions in your world that allow you to hold that priority? Or do you need to adjust for your sanity and for any other things? And also think about the nature of that desire to adjust if that's what you're feeling called towards. So lots to think about. And I wanted this video to be shorter than the others, so we're going to keep it there. But really, for that action item, think about what it would look like for you to make space for something that serves your highest version of yourself as your priority. All right, y'all. Thank y'all for listening and take really good care. I hope y'all have some good weeks this August, and I'll see y'all again next week. All right. If you liked anything you heard, please don't hesitate to comment, like, subscribe, or support in any of these ways, and especially through your love and care. Peace, and I'll see y'all again soon.